Did you know the spy class in the Team Fortress series is based on a glitch that appeared in the early versions of the original Team Fortress? The glitch would cause players to appear on the wrong team. Because these enemy players appeared to have the same team color as your own, players would often mistake them for teammates. The original Team Fortress was a modified version of the game Quake, as well as the later Quake World update. The mod was released in 1996 and was created by a group of Australian college students led by John Cook and Robin Walker. It was a team-based multiplayer first-person shooter with 9 different classes to choose from, with game modes changing depending on the map. The developers began working on a standalone sequel to the mod using Quake 2 as a base, which they planned to call Team Fortress 2. Valve Software showed interest in the mod and hired the team to port Team Fortress to Valve's Gold Source engine as a way of promoting Half-Life 1's software development kit. A port was swiftly made and released with the name Team Fortress Classic. Team Fortress 2, on the other hand, went through multiple delays and design changes until it was released in 2007. When it was first shown at E3 in 1999, Team Fortress 2 looked very different to the game we know today. Unlike the cartoonish mid-20th century industrial art style in the final game, this early version looked to be a more realistic-looking military shooter. This realistic Team Fortress 2 would have featured real-time strategy elements, vehicles, and a class called the Commander. The Commander would have a bird's-eye view of the entire battlefield, be able to look through engineer-built cameras, and see through the eyes of other players. They could provide strategic information for the team, coordinate attacks, alert the team to enemies, place structures, and call for parachute drops over enemy territories. The class was dropped, however, as the developers felt it wouldn't be fun for other players to be commanded what to do. Early versions of Team Fortress 2 also included an officer class that could affect the team's morale and lead a charge. The higher the player's morale, the faster and more accurate they became. However, if an officer died, the player's morale would reset. This morale system was implemented to encourage people to work together as a team. There was also an instructor class that would teach the players how to play the game. Team Fortress 2 was originally titled Valve's Team Fortress, and later Team Fortress 2 Brotherhood of Arms. The Brotherhood of Arms subtitle was dropped, as was the realistic military theme. The realistic theme was dropped because it was hard to tell the individual classes apart. It was also difficult for players to distinguish character models from parts of the background. Another version of Team Fortress 2 was found to exist after the source tree for Half-Life 2 was leaked in late 2003. Some models were found in the code, a human commando and an alien soldier, as well as the game's title Invasion. Invasion was the second version of Team Fortress 2 developed, and featured a team of humans and a team of aliens pitted against one another competing for resources. According to a Game Informer interview with Robin Walker, at least 3 to 4 different versions of Team Fortress were made until the team settled on a final idea. The final version of the game was unveiled at the EA Summer Showcase in July 2006, depicting the game with its near-final visual style. The game's art was inspired by the work of early 20th century American illustrators like Dean Cornwell, J.C. Leyendecker, and Norman Rockwell. There's a large amount of content that wasn't included in the final release of Team Fortress 2. Grenades were originally going to appear as a primary and secondary weapon like in Team Fortress Classic, with each class having their own unique variant with different effects. They were removed because the developers feared players would become dependent on them and spam them. They also feared that players would find exploits using grenades. In addition to the engineer's teleporter, sentry, and dispenser constructions, there was also going to be a repair node building. The repair node could fix any surrounding buildings whilst the engineer was absent from the area, at the cost of taking the place of one of the existing buildings. It was cut, however, because it would tend to break the flow of gameplay. Not only did it make buildings harder to destroy, but it also disrupted the natural flow of the map by taking place of the teleporters or removing valuable dispenser support from a team. The Heavy's buffalo steak sandwich was originally going to be a peyote cactus, but it was changed at the last minute. This was because playtesters thought punching people in a psychoactive peyote-induced rage while wearing a Native American headdress would be considered racist. A non-playable class called the Civilian can be found in the game's files. Its model is the same as the Scouts, and its role would have likely been similar to the Civilian in Team Fortress Classic, a target or an escortee. There are a number of different death screams in the game's files that were to be used for the Civilian. These screams were originally also used for the other playable classes before they were given unique class-specific voices. 2 unused models of rideable carts can be found in the game's files that were intended for the payload mode. There are also 2 unused audio tracks tucked away in the game's files. The first was intended to be included with the Man vs. Machine update. The track is an elevator-style jingle which would have played as the player browses the upgrade station. The second is a MIDI version of the Intruder Alert track. There are tons of references, secrets, and Easter eggs found in the game which have been added with various updates. One of the Pyro's taunt kills is called the HADUKEN and is named after the signature move used by Ryu in the Street Fighter series. The proof of purchase helmet given to players prior to the Uber update in 2011 was based on the helmet of the human commando from the previous Invasion incarnation of the game. There are a couple of community-created items submitted through the Steam Workshop which have since been officially incorporated into the game. The knife used by the spy, called Your Eternal Reward, is a reference to a scene in the 1992 Disney film Aladdin. In the scene, Jafar, disguised as an old man, tries to stab Aladdin with a similar-looking knife and says, "Your eternal reward." The item Familiar Fez for the spy is a reference to the character Mustafa from the first two Austin Powers movies. In the second movie, The Spy Who Shagged Me, when Austin encounters Mustafa, he says to him, "I don't recall your name, but your fez is familiar." The bow tie item Dr. Woe, which can be used by the spy or medic, is reference to the show Doctor Who, in particular to the 11th incarnation of the Doctor, who was commonly associated with wearing a bow tie. When placing the red tape recorder onto a building, an inaudible sound can be heard. When the sound is slowed down between 70 to 80%, it says, "Make a noise." When a scout is blown up, there's a 1 in 100 chance that a dove will fly out of his splattered remains. This is a reference to the Meet the Medic video where the medic accidentally seals his pet bird Archimedes inside the scout's chest. That's all for today, but now we're going to try something a little bit different. We'd like you to vote for what you want the next episode of Did You Know Gaming to be. If you'd like an episode on the Game Boy, click the annotation on the right. Or if you'd like an episode on the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, click the annotation on the left. If you have any other suggestions, let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. My name is Markiplier, narrating this on behalf of Did You Know Gaming. You can find links to my channel, where I play many games of questionable quality, in the description below or through the annotation. Thanks again for watching.